Good evening and welcome to SPORLITIKS, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is Aguna, the Nigerian moderate Republican, Keith,
Go Birds.
the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker, and my cousin Todd. We have a packed show for you tonight. The United States carries out new strikes against a facility used by Iran in Syria. Stephen's here to talk about NASCAR. And the Department of Justice announces arrests in high-end brothel network used by elected officials, military officers, and others. College football, how's your team doing? And takeaways from yesterday's elections in Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, and other states. The NFL, do you remember them? How is your team doing in week number 9? The House of Representatives passes a resolution to censure the first Palestinian American Congresswoman, Tlaib, over her Israel comments. The U.S. Supreme Court leans toward allowing domestic violence gun curbs, and tensions erupt within the Senate GOP over Tommy Tuberville's military holds. Former President Trump weighs in as his daughter prepared to take the stand today and said it was sad. We'll talk about what she said. Nothing is left. Thousands of Palestinians flee south as Israel steps up Gaza City offensive. Those stories and more, if we can fit it in. First up, Stephen with NASCAR. Stephen, tell us what's going on with NASCAR.
Ryan Blaney is the champion of NASCAR. He came in second this past race in Arizona, Phoenix, and he came in second to my man, Ross Chastain, who I think NASCAR really didn't want him to win this year, but maybe they'll give him a chance down the road. I don't know. No, I'm just a sore loser. I really wanted him to do better. He finished like 8th, 9th. I don't know. But Ryan Blaney won. He deserved it. And I like all the drivers. All these drivers have all the respect in the world for what they do and the athletes that they are. And I've got no hard feelings towards anybody. But there's other people that I would like to win more than Blaney. But I'm happy for him. He's going to be a champion forever. And nobody can ever take it away from him. It's like winning. Well, it's like winning Daytona 500 is the best race to win. But it's like winning that times 100. You win the championship for the year. That's really great for him. It's really good. It's fine. But he wasn't my first choice, but he deserved it. He did really well when he needed to do well, and he's got a great team, and he is a great driver, and I can't take anything away from him at all. I'm just the NASCAR's over. Everybody's gearing up now, and it's going to be a really wild off season because there's so many changes coming with the drivers and possibly the car as well, because they always do something that's really different. So it doesn't go. It's like the NFL on a smaller scale. It lasts throughout the entire year. It never goes away. There's always something going on. So it's sad. It's over, but we have a champion, and nobody got in a fight at the end, and everybody shook hands, and everybody was happy. So it was a great season. It's one of the best seasons NASCAR's ever had. And they've had more people at a lot of the races than they've had in a long time. So everything that they're doing is working. And that's great for NASCAR. It's great for everyone involved in it and all the fans. So no complaints this year at all that I can find. Yeah, I think the racing was awesome.
So that's who was that with that big cup? That's a gigantic cup.
Yeah, he's got the what used to be called the Winston Cup. That's Ryan Blaney, drives number 12. He really deserves it. He's really a good driver that's been doing well for a long time, and he had some really good races this year. And it's everything's wide open to him now. And he'll be a Hall of Famer for sure. And he'll probably just be in the running for probably the rest of his time in NASCAR that's relevant. Like when that, I mean, when
Okay.
he's 45 years old and racing, he might not be the top. But as for the next few years,
Right.
you're going to see him in the top, at least top 10 or top 5. So he's up there. He's good team, good guy. So more power to him.
All right, let's move on to college football. Aguna, did you want to talk about college football? Or did you want to move to the NFL?
I prefer to move to the NFL. We already know
Okay,
college
go
football
ahead.
is winding down, even though I do want to give a shout out to my university. This past weekend had its homecoming, South Carolina State, and we beat Howard 27-24. So that was good.
And you also did a great presentation. Do you want to tell everyone about the presentation you did?
Oh, yeah, I did. So in honor of my mom, we gave some money to the School of Social Work for a memorial scholarship fund, the beginning of a memorial scholarship fund for the late Dr. Eva Njoku. So that was very well received as well. Special thanks to the dean and the President Conyers down there at South Carolina State. So looking to grow that, and for a rising sophomore, junior social work major. So really excited about that as well.
So if anyone like Cousin Todd or Keith or Stephen or myself or SPORLITIKS wants to contribute, where do we go to contribute? Is there a website I can put up?
Yes, I will send out the link, but you can go to South Carolina State University website, their alumni or their donation link, and the Memorial Scholarship is on the drop-down menu. You should see her name and Dr. Eva Memorial Scholarship, so it's there. So for anyone who wants to contribute, I'll give the link to the show. Definitely, any donation is acceptable, but definitely, it's because it goes towards a good cause. So, yeah, I'll send that link to the show, and I appreciate you, asking, Stacy. So, actually, any ability to make an impact helps. So, thank you for that.
Sure, of course. Please go to the NFL.
Oh, yeah. You know what week it was last week, right? You know what week it was last week. And I had the privilege and the benefit of, well, I don't know if it was a privilege, actually, after sitting in that game. Yes, we won, and I'll take the win. But that was the longest 30 seconds in my life. And I know the Eagles didn't lose, right? Jalen Hurts actually had an okay game. He threw for about 200 yards. He had a touchdown. He threw for 2 touchdowns. So he had a decent game, no turnovers, right? 28-24. But that last minute or so of that game, the Eagles did everything in their power to give that game away. And had the Eagles lost after being up, I think it was 28-17, they were up to 17 late in the fourth or early in the fourth, late in the fourth or whatever, and the collapse within the last 30 seconds, it would have been by far one of the worst losses in Philadelphia Eagles history. I would have put it second to the last game at the Vet where we lost to Tampa Bay and it stopped our chances of going to the Super Bowl. This would have definitely been up there with that. And there was also one which one of my classmates got tackled on the 2-yard line, and it was a Monday night game. It was a chip shot field goal. We missed the field goal, and the Cowboys won. But this would have been worse than that because we were dominating the Cowboys the whole game. CeeDee Lamb kept him in it. CeeDee Lamb was a heck of a receiver. Dak Prescott actually played a decent game. He got a lot of stats later on because they were down by so much. So he threw for almost 300 or some odd yards. I think he had 3 touchdowns. But everyone's talking about the refs and the calls of the refs and this and that and about the refs. And the refs' calls were, I will admit, a little shaky in the game. They were consistently not calling holding in the beginning. I know some of these Cowboy fans are whining about Michael Parsons getting held, and Hassan Reddick was getting held too. They were holding Eagles defensive ends, just trying to keep the game close. And then down the stretch, they gave Dallas almost 65 some odd yards of penalties to get on they were on the 6-yard line with less than 30 seconds left. Go-ahead touchdown was right there for them, but fortunately for us, our defense stepped up and made some plays and knocked them out of scoring knocked them out the red zone and eventually stopped them. So I'll take the win. The Eagles are going into the bye week. We're 8-1. This is exactly where I want it to be at this point in the season. I figured we would either be, if we were 8-1 at this point with some really tough games coming up against Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, Dallas, and Seattle. Those are the next 5 games, right? So that's going to tell us a lot. I predicted in the beginning that the season would be 12-4, or 12-5 was my prediction for the Eagles. Is that enough to win the East? Maybe, because you also have the Cowboys with a really easy schedule. As far as the Giants and the Commanders, I think their season is done, all right? I do think the Commanders may have an outside shot, but once they traded Chase to San Fran, I was like, you know what? They're trying to do a fire sale here and Sweat. Not only Chase, but Sweat. I think Sweat was a bigger trade than Chase.
He went to Chicago.
And he went to Chicago, right? So that was like, okay, they're trying to salvage some compensation. Right. But again, the NFC is a very weak conference. You never know. You can win a couple of good games there, and you can sneak in. But I think the Eagles being in the driver's seat of not only the NFC but the league right now, going into the bye, is a good place to be in.
I think I think the teams that you just called out that y'all have to play, like Buffalo, Kansas City, Seattle, whatever, you can beat all of them. None of them impress me at all. Not at all. I think y'all are a much better team than they are. Y'all might lose one. You lost one. Might lose 2. Might lose 3. Maybe. But I think you're off on your estimate. I'm thinking unless they sit out for the last 2 weeks because they've won so much, then I don't think you're going to lose that much. But I said it earlier before we started the show. I told Stacey, I said it's time for the Commander Skins to just lose some games. They should lose to Seattle this week, and they should lose to whoever they play the next. They just need a better team around them.
I think they played Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. They just need to lose. They need to lose. They need to get some better draft picks. They already got rid of 2 of the best players on the team. 2 of their best players well, not the best players, but 2 players that are really, really good or have the potential to be great players. And they will be wherever they go. That's what happens when people leave our team in Washington. They go and be superstars. But that's what's going to happen. I think Hal is going to be a great player. So what we need to get a good draft. We need to get some good offensive linemen. We need to get some young people in there. We have a good team. We have a good offense. We have, basically all of our, the good, the wide receivers, running backs. We have the things we need. Tight end, need some offensive linemen, including tight. We need a little bit more defense now that we've lost it. But let some young guys come in. And Chase Young, he was mostly a name. He was mostly I never wanted him to be, what was he, first or second pick? I never wanted him. I wanted him to get more people instead of him. And he never panned out. And he was hurt for 6 years, it seemed like. So I'm glad he's gone. I hate that Sweat's gone. I'd rather keep him. But if that means we can get some better people, start over again, we need to start. But the best thing we need to do, and right now, is put people around Sam Howell and people that can block for him, because he is a man with a huge heart and a rifle for an arm, and he's just going to get better. Just like the quarterback that is with the Eagles that may go to the Super Bowl this year. This guy has the same traits that he has. He's a strong guy. He doesn't give up. He puts in more than a lot of other people. And I see this for Sam Howell, but not with the team he has now, not with the offensive line he has now. He needs a lot. So what they need to do is lose some games, because if you don't make the playoffs, who cares? Lose some games, make your team better next year. But I don't know, with new ownership, they're going to like that. So let's just beat Seattle and see what happens after that.
So you guys, all right. So let's talk real quickly about the Commanders this past week. They won. And do you want to talk about that game? They were able to pull that off. Let me go back to it. They played the Patriots and they beat them 20-17, as you can see on the screen. Did you want to talk about how they did, Stephen?
Well, the defense, did well enough to do what they had to do. And like Sam Howell, I said, Sam Howell is great. He's going to be fine. But this game shocked me, because I said, well, with this game here, they just lost 2 primo defensive players. It's going to hurt their rotation. It's going to hurt their depth. They're going to have a hard time. And even though the Patriots are doing really poorly right now, I think the Patriots should be able to beat them when they're injured and they're coming into New England. But Washington surprised me. They really did. So maybe I have to retract and say, let's just keep going and maybe we can win something, maybe make the playoffs. I don't know. It just was really weird. And you have to know right now that the Patriots are absolutely done. And that quarterback is so horrible. You can't really judge anything by it, but it was nice. It was nice to win. A win is a win no matter who you play. And especially with the fact that I didn't think they were going to win that game because of what had happened. Mm-hmm. And they said that the team had given up on the coach. The whole locker room had given up on the whole administration, everybody. They're not down with it anymore. But somehow they still win. I don't know. Maybe they still have it in them. Okay. Maybe they came to an agreement. I don't know. I just want to win.
The writing is definitely on the wall. The writing. This is Rivera's last year. Bieniemy's going to be
making that money though.
Coach, right? Their position.
Yeah, we need
you got new ownership. You got some refined talent. I can't say that Sam Howell's the guy though. I don't know if Sam Howell's going to be the guy. I know he's the bridge guy. He's like a bridge guy, right? They'll probably bring him back next year, but they're going to get a quarterback of the future with the compensation they got for Sweat and for Chase. They're going to.
But you didn't think Hurts. You didn't think Hurts was the guy. Hurts was the guy before you thought he was the guy.
Well, here's the thing. No, man, I don't know about that. I don't think Sam Howell is that franchise guy written all over him. You're going to pay.
But neither did Hurts. Hurts had the raw. He had everything that was raw, just like Howell. And then he developed. And I think that's what Howell is going to do. I think Howell's going to do the same thing.
Yeah, but you really have
maybe not be as great.
So you think this new ownership, you got a new owner coming in, all right? You got a changing of the guard. It's a fairly, you're putting together a brand. You got to get people excited about coming back to FedEx Field, and that's not going to happen with Sam Howell. You need a franchise quarterback to give you hope, a young rookie guy who has a lot of upside. You're going to bring him in on a rookie contract, and he's going to be the guy of the future. Sam Howell may start next year as a bridge guy, but Sam Howell is not the future of the Commanders. And you're going to sit here and say Sam
Howell's not the problem.
And again,
Sam Howell is not the problem.
They draft Sam Howell. What round was he drafted in?
It doesn't matter. Remember Brady. It doesn't matter. Remember Brady.
Was drafted in the second or third round. So he was a high draft. He was in a high. And they got him because he potentially could be the guy. They saw something in him and some intangibles there where he could come in. Right? They didn't.
You said the same thing about Hurts,
but they also said he potentially could be that. Nobody in the NFL is sitting here saying that Sam Howell is a franchise quarterback. Nobody.
He's not right now, but he's in line to be one. All he needs to do is take the steps to get there.
So we have a guest on, Julio. Julio, welcome to SPORLITIKS, where sports and politics mix and mingle.
Is that Julio Jones?
Julio Jones. Jones had a touchdown.
Julio Quintavious Jones. Get that full name right now. Shout out to the A. What's going on, y'all? But no, just to put the button on this topic, because I know y'all don't want to go too far with it. Yes,
you can bring up the Atlanta Braves. We can go far with that if you like.
Yeah, we just lost Ron Washington, one of the greatest coaches in MLB history. He's going to coach the Angels now, so that's going to hurt the Braves. We'll see what they do pitching-wise this offseason.
Not the Braves, the Falcons.
Ma'am, you said the Braves. I'm just trying to keep up with the host. I'm sorry. Okay, you want the Falcons? I give you the Falcons.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I meant the Falcons.
That was one of the most falcony ways to ever lose a game you will ever see. Only the Falcons can lose to a team whose quarterback doesn't know the name of his teammates, who just signed 2 days ago, comes in, throws for a touchdown, runs for a touchdown, and beats the Falcons. Hopefully we can get a new coach. Our coach is playing 4D level genius chess, where he decided we have 3 top 10 picks, and he's going to use them as decoys to fool everybody. So, yeah, that's what we're doing down here, man. That's the regime that's going on down here in Falcon land. But shout out to Heineke, man. He played well despite, it It is what it
Yeah,
is.
your Falcons killed all of my parlays because I put them in the parlays because I believe they'd be okay. And when
Yes.
the quarterback went out, I said, I've just won it all. I put 2 parlays. I won 2 parlays, and I got the Falcons. And then, like you said, this guy come off the street, Aguna got behind the center and won the game, played like Fran Tarkenton or something. You got to be kidding me.
That's the Falcons, man. I do
That's
want to
the
say thank you
darndest
to
thing
the
I've ever
Falcons
seen.
for ruining his day. I appreciate that, Falcons. And now you learned the lesson. You'll never bet on the Falcons again the rest of your life.
I'll never bet on them for anything again. That's why they call them the Dirty Birds.
Indeed.
Of the South. Anything else before we move on with the NFL? Anything else?
No, people need to leave Dak alone. He played well. I don't think Dallas' coach does much to help him. I don't think their offense is that good or imaginative. Maybe Martavis Bryant, the carcass of him coming in, could help them a little bit. But, yeah, people are giving Dak too much grief, man. He played well, as did the Eagles. Salute to them in that push play. I think they need to stop doing that, though, because eventually somebody's going to try to hurt Jalen. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I don't want to.
You ain't worried about Jalen getting hurt.
I know I am, man, because I think somebody's going to do something dirty. But go ahead.
Yeah, and Dak did play decent. Like I said, some of his stats were, because you're playing from behind, you got to throw. But he did feed it to
CD Lamb, who fumbled on the last play of the game and cost me some money.
He was beasting, and he almost got one at the end there for the walk-off touchdown. But at the end of the day, I think Dak has been in the league for 7 years now. He's supposed to play that way. He's supposed to win games like that, to be honest with you. They're paying him. They're going next year, they'll probably restructure, but they're paying him like $60 million. You're getting paid, $60 million, you win games regardless, right? And to get out, he lost to Jalen basically because the quarterbacks get the blame a lot of times for the wins and losses and stuff. But he did play well. But at the end of the day, he didn't make plays that he needed to make. That stepping out of bounds, that's a rookie mistake. Some of those passes, Jalen only had 6 incomplete passes all game. He only threw for 200 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, but that's a typical Dak Prescott day. Dak played above and beyond what he normally does, didn't turn the ball over, and they still lost. I don't think the Cowboy fans should be as confident as they are right now because they're like, oh, we should have won because of the refs. No. They lost, and they played their best. So
it's always the refs.
Something to think about.
How come it's always the refs?
Well, that's Cowboys fan. But no, I wasn't saying that Dak played excellent. I was just saying the chatter when a quarterback or saying that he didn't play well.
That's all his butt off.
Yeah,
Dak played a really good game.
Yeah, I know Dak.
He did. He just played a good game. I know you hate. We all hate the Cowboys, but Dak played a good game.
I've had to listen to Cowboy fans justify Dak for so long, and yeah, he played a good game. But again, he's a 7-year guy. $60 million, whatever, quarterback, multi-million-dollar quarterback. He's supposed to do what he did, but he's also supposed to win the game and step up in those big moments where he has to. And stepping out of bounds, 2-point conversion that would have put the score within 3. So now as you get down to the 6, now you're kicking for the tie. Kick the field goal for the tie, goes to overtime, anything can happen. That's why it's a game in inches. That's why Dak came up short. Yes, he had a good game, but when a play needed to be made, he didn't make the play. That's just the way it is.
All right, Skip.
All right, Julio, can you talk about anything with college football, specifically Deion Sanders' team?
Things are not going well. They're taking a sharp turn the other way, as we kind of all knew they would. We talked about this early. Prepare for next year. I don't think Deion's handling it that well. He's getting a little antsy and with some of the reporters after the games, and he's kind of speaking about players in a way that you shouldn't speak about student athletes, and just saying basically some of these guys ain't no good and they'll be replaced next year, which is true. You just ain't supposed to say it, but
they get paid now. They're grown men. They're grown men that get paid now.
Not all of those guys. Those Colorado offensive linemen, I don't think anybody knocking down their door for some NIL.
They're giving them cheeseburgers and pizzas.
Good luck with that.
All right.
Hey, Stacey, can I say real quick, if anybody wants to do a future bet, I know I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings on the show, but it's going to be the Ravens and the 49ers are probably going to be in the Super Bowl. The Ravens and the 49ers. If you do a futures bet now.
Crazy? Why would you say something like
why
that
would you even
and
say
not
that?
include the Eagles? Yeah, why would you open your mouth?
I mean,
and
the Eagles
crazy like that.
Because I halfway agree with you because I think the Ravens are playing at a high level. I do not think the 49ers are who we think they are.
The 49ers are going to get healthy. They're going to get healthy
the Eagles
again.
aren't in it. How
But
can
they
you
still
agree
have
with
Brock
him if the
Purdy.
Eagles
They
aren't
have
in it?
Mr. Relevant. And he's
But they're going to get healthy.
But what did Purdy do? What did Purdy do last year in the game against the Eagles and the 49ers?
Well, the man broke his elbow. What you want him to do? Well, look, they added a pass rusher.
Exactly.
That helps things. And Debo comes back this week. So, it's not out the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, y'all just mark this show.
Runners.
Stacey, just mark this show. They're going to be in the Super Bowl. You bet now. Put $100 on
anything if you're not putting the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
I
can't even believe you opened your mouth to say that.
You think it's going to
the
be
Eagles will be in the playoffs.
Rematch?
The Eagles will lose to the 49ers in the NFC.
No, they'll never lose to the
game?
49ers.
Yeah.
No,
where's
they
it going
won't.
to be played?
In Philly.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's going to matter. That's going to matter. If it's played,
who the referees pay? Who the referees going to be?
Don't forget, Detroit has the easiest schedule down the stretch.
I know Detroit is always going to be Detroit. Detroit's going to shoot themselves in the foot. Detroit's always going to be Detroit.
How is it that these teams who lost and didn't make it to the Super Bowl get the easiest schedules? It seems to me the teams that went to the Super Bowl, which means they played the most games out of the season, should be the ones who get the easiest schedules.
It don't work like that.
These bum teams get easy schedules.
Cousin Ty, can you come in and say no, ma'am?
Cousin
No,
Ty
ma'am.
He's getting his beard groomed. He doesn't have time to jump on right now.
They're using sheep shears. They have to use sheep shears to get that beard groomed.
It's hair of wool.
That's wool.
So will somebody answer
that beard's going to make somebody a nice sweater.
Yeah. That's collectively bargained, and they decided the same way that the worst team gets the number one draft pick. They decided strength of schedule is always going to lean in the way of the bad teams get that easier schedule. Go look at some of these guys, like the Falcons schedule is really easy. The Rams schedule is really easy. There's a lot of these teams that kind of got a cake schedule.
But
they're much worse than what we think.
There's also parity in the league, right? So when you look at the Eagles schedule coming up, Kansas City on the road at Arrowhead, very difficult, tough to play in. But did Denver beat them in Kansas City this year?
Yeah.
But Denver beat Kansas City. I don't know if it's in Denver or Kansas City, but they won.
They beat them in Denver and lost, and they barely lost in KC. It was a close one.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they're not Kansas City's not to worry about. Don't worry about Kansas City. They're bums.
I'm worried about them. But then you have Buffalo, right? So Buffalo, again, they have explosiveness. They may blow up, but they also have inconsistency. So sometimes Josh Allen, there's been a lot of talk there about Ken Dorsey's play calling, and by losing to the Bengals like they did this last weekend, there's a lot of question marks there because now they were third in the AFC East. Now they moved up to 2 after the Jets lost. So they're sitting there on the bubble of the playoffs right now. Because of the inconsistent play. So that may be a winnable game in Philly. Then you also have the 49er game, which I think is going to be an intense game because 49ers got some revenge. The Eagles want to shut them up and keep them at the lower seed. So I think that's going to be a good game. And then right after that, you have Dallas, which is going to be a revenge game. And maybe for the division because Dallas has 4 very easy games coming up. They play the Commanders, they play the Giants, they play the Panthers. I forgot who else they played, some other scrub team that they can play. So it's going to be interesting to see how, it pans out down the stretch. Like I said, Detroit has a very easy schedule. They don't play a team with a winning record. I think they play 1 or 2 teams with a winning record for the rest of the remainder of the year. So we'll see. We'll see. Cowboys do have a tough schedule after they play the Eagles, though. I think Cowboys still have to play Miami, Buffalo, and I think they play Detroit too. So that's going to be interesting. You're on mute.
Ain't nobody worried about no Detroit.
No, nobody's worried about Detroit. Detroit's always going to be Detroit.
Right, famous last word. Famous last word.
I don't know
Stacey,
what happened to
mute.
Guna. He got out of here. I'm sorry. Thank you. I was on mute. Let's move on to U.S. military. The U.S. military carries out strikes. Breaking news: carries out new strikes against a facility used by Iran in Syria. This was written by Idris Ali today at 6:33 p.m. Updated 27 minutes ago. You see the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin at a news conference. The United States, for the second time in recent weeks, make sure you can see that, carried out strikes. I'm sorry, I'm trying to go back to it.
On
Carried out
Wednesday,
strikes today, thank you, against a weapons storage facility in eastern Syria that the Pentagon said was used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and affiliated groups. As tensions soar over the Israel-Hamas conflict, U.S. and coalition troops have been attacked at least 40 times in Iraq and Syria by Iran-backed forces since the start of October. Keith, let's start with you. The United States is no punk. Hitting us during this Israel-Hamas conflict. I don't think that's beneficial, do you?
Nope. United States is not a punk, but the people who run it are. They are punks. So, there's no telling what's going to happen here. Biden is certainly slow and slack when it comes to defending the rights of the American people. So, and, his press secretary, that beautiful black woman, give her credit. She's a pretty young lady, and yet she is very wrong with her ideas, is expressing, the secretary, let's say, Jean-Pierre. She just, she can't seem to articulate. She won't speak. When they ask her questions, she doesn't seem to answer questions.
All right.
So
I'm not interested in that. Okay.
Well, you
Thank
aren't, but I mean, it's you asked, you said that it's it's not a good thing, and no, it's not. What's happening with the United States?
Are we talking about the military strikes?
Yeah, and he went to Biden's press secretary, Julio. Let's talk about these military strikes because he went to.
Of course, he wants to bash.
Stay focused. I know he's the senior on the show, but sometimes he gets a little distracted. I see.
So Julio, I was waiting for Julio to respond, not Cousin Todd. Julio.
Yeah. I mean, this is a terrible thing. Once again, the aggression leads to more aggression. So when we talk about these things, just think about it in this way, man. Say your neighbor has a swimming pool. Let's say you'd like to enjoy that swimming pool as well. And every once in a while, you just go out there and start swimming. And then eventually your neighbor comes out and says, hey, man, get out, and wants to fight you. Do you call your neighbor the aggressor, or do you say your neighbor is the problem? No. When you have a base on every nation almost, and a ship in every ocean, and you overextend yourself, you tend to get into little dust-ups like this. And let's not remember, we're not too far away from us assassinating Soleimani, one of their military leaders and a really beloved man over in that country. So, of course, during this conflict, you were going to see some aggression from them. Here's our response. And warmonger Joe, I'm really disappointed with Joe. I think he's taken the standpoint of not wanting to look weak on the world stage, and because of it has made, I think, our troops vulnerable and our position as the arbiter of anything over here. I don't think we'll have final say on how this all ends because of things like this.
Okay, so let me ask Stephen. I just saw that a U.S. submarine was floating and seen in the waters in the Middle East as a deterrent. Is that a good thing that President Biden is doing as we get attacked by different countries in the Middle East?
I don't know what Joe Biden should be doing. I don't know if he should be allowing submarines or ships or all of our troops, or we should be fighting. I don't. This is really bizarre. This is something that we would not be going through except what happened in 2020. This is, this is the results of election that was whatever you want to call it. I know what the truth is, and this is what we have, and this is why we're in the fix we're in right now. This is why the country is in bad shape. This is why the world's in such bad shape, because we have somebody who is president and we have an administration that should not be running anything. This is why everything's going to get much worse. And if you're on that side, then you really got to come to yourself as a reflection, because this is the time to come to think for yourself. Something's not right. This should never happen. We should never be on the brink of World War III, but we are, because of one big reason is because of the administration that we have right now. We don't have a strength. We don't have a man in charge that has any strength, or the whole side has no strength. But they're not that they just don't have strength. They're on the side of our enemies.
You gotta let them talk.
The left is on the side of our enemies. That's why we give Iran when
thank you, Stephen.
Obama was in office, we give Iran money. When Biden's in office, we give them more money. We're on the side of our enemy. That's why we're gonna lose.
Thank you, Stephen. Cousin Todd.
Lose what? What
now I can't even.
Our country and our lives. Your country and your life.
Everybody,
you're gonna lose your country and your life. You're going to lose your country and your life because of people like you. Because of people like you.
Yeah, because I'm on the side of the left.
Go ahead, Todd. Just talk, Todd.
I'm not going to.
Everybody died in vain.
Are you crazy? Okay, thank you. Now, why don't you just mute them? Now, I have to waste my time correcting nonsense. These people have been fighting for generations. Long before Joe Biden, right? I just said because I thought he could understand this generation, your parents' generation, their parents' generation. So I thought perhaps he could understand that a little bit better than centuries. That's far beyond his reach.
Who they, them.
Okay, and
Joe
so right, and so these people have been warring for generations, centuries. So it's not Joe Biden's fault. Joe Biden had nothing to do with that. And so I do not want us to get bogged down in a war between people who've been warring forever. So we should back out of that, and we should mind our own business.
How do we back out and not support Israel? Let me show you this.
We do support Israel. But we don't have
this article by Israel Hayom, IsraelHayom.com. Israeli troops surround Gaza City and the U.S. confirms a nuclear submarine in area. Several Ohio-class submarines carry cruise missiles and the capability to deploy with special operation forces. So it's unclear if the submarine operating now in the Middle East carries nuclear ballistic missiles. And I think they have it incorrect. This particular submarine that they are talking about, they carry ballistic missiles. They are not a nuclear submarine from the United States, but I'm going to get the correct article. Aguna? Or Todd, did you want to finish before Aguna? We're talking about a submarine. United States sent submarines into the Middle East as a deterrent, but they sent ballistic
let's just be
submarines.
Clear. Let's just be clear. Submarines have always been there. You know what I'm saying? They're just announcing it just because it's part of the strategy, is saber rattling. Okay. We have the largest military in the world. All right. Our Coast Guard is the 7th largest Navy in the world. Just our Coast Guard. I'm not even talking about, we got 7 or 14, but somewhere between that number of carrier battle groups. Each carrier battle group is pretty much larger than most countries' air forces. So here's the thing. There is there's no country on this planet that can really mess with the United States. Despite everybody saying, oh, we're weak and all this other stuff, and we don't have enough battleships, even though we don't use battleships anymore.
Well, that's silly, right?
At the end of the day, they're carrying out strikes because you have such a big fist. You're walking with a hammer around here, all right? You got Israel, who has a hammer too, and you got the Palestinians and Hamas, which is they don't even have a slingshot. You know what I mean?
And I'm glad you said Palestinians and Hamas, because they're two separate
no, they're not.
Organizations.
No, they're not.
Right.
Hamas,
and see what's happening. We talked about this on the last show.
Shut up, Stephen. Go ahead.
Well, stop lying.
Show constraint.
Stop
Shut
lying.
up, Stephen. You already talked. You already talked. When you show constraint and you're the number one economy, the number one military in the world, you come in there, you see a conflict happening, and you say to one side, Israel, hey, let's slow down. Let's not attack because, again, we can wipe these people out. That's not being pro-Hamas. That's being pro-peace. Pro-peace doesn't mean you're for the terrorists. We're supporting them. I mean, you got to have some humanity here. And what's happening is when you go in there and you're starting to see the footage of babies getting killed, all this massive bombing, you're giving Hamas what they want. They provoke Israel into this conflict to make Israel look bad. And so as the United States comes in there and says, look, the path you're going is leading towards war crimes. It's a humanitarian crisis. You're doing things over the top. You can only blame Hamas so many times before you yourself have to be accountable for this stuff. And that's not wrong for the U.S. to say. We've said that for centuries in other conflicts around the world to our friends. All right. So that being of itself is actually a sign of strength. Now, sending a submarine over there with all these missiles, that's what we've had over there anyway. We don't even have to send a sub right there. We can shoot a missile from Colorado over there to where and hit somebody on the nose if we want to. That's how good our technology is. So this is just a sign of force. So again, it's not here nor there. Our military is the best in the world and will continue to be.
Okay, thank you.
Right, but we still don't want to get bogged down in this conflict where you have the rest of the world looking at America like, wait a minute, you're siding with Israel and they're continuing to kill innocent people.
Exactly, Cousin Todd. That's what I was trying to articulate. You actually strengthened China's position to come in and be the people to negotiate with, and then make themselves bigger on the world stage where they get more partnerships going and getting things going in the way that they want. So again, I'm criticizing Biden from the left, and my position is there were times where we told Israel no, where they had gone too far. Ronald Reagan famously hung up the phone after talking to Begin. Look, you got to stop. You've gone too far. You got to stop. And you know what they did? They stopped. Why? Because that country can't function without U.S. aid of $4 billion a year. And because of that, we do have a little bit of leverage in those talks to tell them, like, look, you're going too far. You're not only disrupting your own relationship with the world, but you're creating a scenario to where you're going to be looked at as the South Africa of this day. So, yeah, this is going terribly.
Well, Bill Clinton also told them to stop building on Palestinian land, and so did Barack Obama. They ignored them.
Yeah, that turned into a big dust up when Obama because Obama was, he's well studied in this stuff. Remember, Obama was a hard leftist before he went to school and figured out where he could make a lot of money and also become president if he centered his positions a little more. So he knew this stuff well, and he called for it, and they immediately said he was anti-Israel and all this other stuff, the smears. So he eventually came back and negotiated with them in a fair way, and they continued the settlements. But a big part of this is most Americans don't know the day-to-day life of Palestinians. When you live in occupied territory where you have to have a pass to go to certain areas, you're not allowed to walk down certain streets just because of your ethnicity, where you're basically living in a place where you can't vote and your voice doesn't matter. Guess what happens? You embolden people who become terrorists. You embolden the people who seem like they're going to get something done. And that's why we get Hamas. So one day they tell us you can't figure out where those Hamas fighters are, at the initial fight. And then next week, then they tell us, we know where all the tunnels are, and we're bombing them strategically. So yeah, it's a lot of nonsense here.
Elementary.
That's a bunch of garbage out of your mouth.
Excuse me. House, you look at CNN.com. The House passes a resolution to censor Tlaib over Israel comments. This was written by Claire Foran, Melanie Zanona, Ann Grayer, and Morgan Rimmer. Updated 8:28 a.m. today. So basically, Congresswoman, the first Palestinian American Congresswoman, you can see her there, made a comment. And they want to censor
the only
Yeah.
Palestinian Congresswoman, and I think we got to add that as well.
Yeah, the only terrorist. The only
this-
terrorist.
Yeah, this is a disgusting moment.
Rashida, so on Tuesday,
Yeah,
the House
she's a
passed a
terrorist.
GOP-led resolution on Tuesday to censor Representative Rashida Tlaib over comments critical of Israel and in
Sounded like a
support of
bigot,
Palestinians
passive-aggressive
amid
white supremacist.
Israel's war against Hamas. One of the things she said was basically that Palestinians are human. And she says, you see it here, I can't believe I have to say this, but Palestinian people are not disposable. We are human beings just like anyone else. Aren't they, Keith? Aren't they human beings just like anyone else, and they're not disposable?
Yes, they are human beings like anyone else. And that is why they must be subject to the same laws as everyone else, international laws, the same laws. And Hamas is a sort of thuggish wing of the Palestinians. It's sort of like what we have here when you have, in Mexico, you have the cartels who are a thuggish wing of Mexico and so forth, and other type of South American regimes. So that's
What law is
Did we bomb Mexico?
What
And
law
it's
is
the
this?
same-
What law are you talking about?
I'm talking
What law
about
are you talking
international
about?
law.
International law?
Yeah, that's
So
the law.
international. So the
Well,
international
let me
community
finish.
governs
Let me
Palestine.
answer your question. No, let me finish.
I
put words in my
don't
mouth.
understand it.
No, don't put words in my mouth. I'll tell you what law.
Oh,
I'm talking
I was like,
about
what does that
international law, the international rules of war, the laws that apply.
That's
to all
not the
nations.
same thing.
Yes,
Wars
it
are
is.
between
It is.
nation states.
I mean,
Yes,
what are you
it is.
talking
Violate
about? What are you
international
talking
The
about?
laws
they
of
would have to be a
nations.
nation.
The law of nations is
Exactly.
the same for
So we're
all
not talking
nations.
about a nation.
And
right?
that is the rule of combat.
That's the thing you're not getting
Not
here.
to strike against, not to strike against those who are non-combatives, and that's what has happened, with the Palestinians. On the Palestinian side, those who are non-combatant on the Palestinian side, let me just say this: those who are Palestinians, I don't know how they call that a state, but those who are Palestinians who are non-combatives are held captive and used as human shields by Hamas. And then when Israel strikes back at Hamas, they put those people in the way and then tell the world that we have attacked them. Isn't that right, Stephen?
That's 100%
But
correct.
you-
And
wait a
these
minute,
people are on here
going back to
lying.
back.
That doesn't hide the fact that you
It's
attack.
Hamas
We're
is
going
the
back to
devil,
back
not
with nuts. Can we
Israel.
hear from
Hamas
somebody
is
It's
the
like you're
devil.
attacking and they're saying I'm blaming you for.
What, Stacy? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just saying you're
Oh,
blaming.
I'm
me.
sorry. I
everything
was
froze
talking.
up
I
for a
thought
second.
I was. Yeah, I was on mute, but I thought you guys heard me. I was saying, go ahead, Aguna. Make your comment really quickly. Congresswoman
No, I was
Tlaib
saying
made a
again.
comment.
This is a.
But wait a
this
minute.
is-
Address
this
the
is a
comment she said.
typical-
Address the comment she said. She
You're
said
basically
from the
blaming
river to the
innocent
sea, right?
civilians.
Didn't she say that?
Yeah.
What she said got
To
censored.
the river,
The
to
river
the
to the
sea.
sea.
Palestinians are people too, and they're censoring her for exercising freedom of speech, which we say in this country is part of our mantra or constitution. We exercise freedom of speech. He says, hey, Palestinians are people too. And then all of a sudden you censor her because Palestinians, like Stephen is saying, are terrorists. She's a terrorist because she's saying be human about, people. This is where Israel gets a black eye because, again, if you can't even have a conversation about peace, if you can't be the arbiter of saying, okay, I can destroy these people, but I show restraint because at the end of the day, I don't want to look like the aggressor and the bad guy. I know what they did was bad, but somewhere somebody has to be the voice of reason.
Israel shows
if
restraint.
that's anti-Israel or that's anti-peace, I mean, there's a whole different conversation.
Israel
that we
shows
have.
restraint.
We're being
Israel
hypocrites
shows
and
the
bigots.
international law.
That's basically what you want.
And let me
That's
say
right.
this. And let me say this just to put an exclamation mark so that people will know how hypocritical Stephen and Keith are.
Oh, please.
Stephen says, those people, January 6th, they're political prisoners. They're locked up. They're political. So the innocent
GD right.
Just okay. So some of those people are innocent, right? According to you. So they should not
99%.
be jailed, right? According to you.
I wonder what the difference is.
Innocent people.
I wonder.
No,
what
I'm
the
not like
difference
you.
is.
I'm not a racist like y'all are. I'm not a racist. I don't care the
Yes,
the race
you
of
are,
people. I believe in the human
Stephen.
race. You're the
Embrace it.
racist.
Embrace
You're
your
the
racism,
racist.
Stephen.
No, you hate Jews. You hate
embrace
Jews
it.
because they're white.
So
Nobody said that. See,
You hate Jews because
nobody
they're white.
even said that.
I don't
Now you're
hate
getting
anybody.
angry. Don't get
I don't
angry
hate
at me
anybody.
because
You know what? You know what it is.
passive-aggressive
You know what? Let me
white
say this,
supremacists.
Stacey. What it is we have
Passive-aggressive
Iran.
white
We have
supremacists.
Iran that supports Hezbollah. This is what they want to do. Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, all these groups. They want to wipe out Israel. They want to kill every Israeli. Stop talking. Shut up. I know these people. I know these people. Shut up, Aguna. What they want to do is kill every Jew. So finally the Jews in Israel said, screw you. We're going to kill every one of you, Hamas. So what they said was, you people that are Palestinian, get your ass down south. So Hamas, stop these people. Hamas, stop these. Shut up, Aguna.
okay, Stephen,
Hamas,
thank you.
stop these
Stephen, you have
people.
to sum it
The
up.
bad guy is Hamas and Iran, not Israel. If you're on that side, then
Okay.
you're on the side
Thank you,
that's
Stephen.
evil, and you're either too stupid or ignorant to know what's right, or you're just evil. You have
Okay,
one
thank
group
you,
of people
Stephen.
that wants to
Okay,
live in
I gotta
peace,
move on.
and everybody else wants them to be wiped off the map.
Cousin Todd,
Okay, thank you, Stephen.
Cousin Todd.
You support
Thank you.
Adolf Hitler. You support Hamas. Y'all are all Adolf Hitlers because you want all the Jews to die. If you support Talib, if you support the Hamas, if you protest Israel, then you are Adolf Hitler. You are no
Okay, thank you.
different because they are the group of people, just
Thank
like
you.
Hitler said, we want you all to die. We're going to kill every fucking one of you. Don't you understand?
Look
There's
at
a group of
Look
people
at Keith.
that they want to
Keith
take
is
off
laughing
this
at
earth.
Stephen.
You done yet?
Israel doesn't want to do that. But listen to
Keith
me,
is laughing at
Christian
Stephen.
Aguna, Catholic
Can we
Christian
move on?
Aguna.
You're
After they
turning
kill all
red.
the Jews,
You're turning
they're going to
red,
kill you
Stephen.
too.
still
You're an
red.
idiot. Y'all a bunch
Yeah,
of
I'm
idiots.
sure. Thank you.
You're
Thank
a
you.
bunch of
All right,
idiots.
Because
thank you,
what you
Stephen.
said
You're
just now
supporting
just
people
made
who want to
sense.
kill you. Hey, gay
He's
people.
not going
Gay
to stop,
people. These
Stacey.
people you
Stop.
support.
Guys, ding dong.
What are you talking about, man? Look at this guy, Stacy. Look at
Yeah,
this guy.
gay.
Look at him. The more you
And
talk, the
look,
dumber we get.
Hamas. We love Hamas.
and Keith
The more you
loves
talk, the
him.
dumber we get.
He
Thank
just
you.
laughs at him. That's a shame.
Hey,
You're
it's like
laughing
a
All
mob
right, I gotta
dancing,
move
man.
on.
Dance,
I've gotta
dance,
move on.
dance.
Well, Stacey, but before you move on, can I just speak to the Talib moment just real quick?
Yes, please.
Like this is similar
Oh
to
my
2001, where we're getting to this point where not only are we censoring speech, but we've become so close to being fascist that we've decided, okay, this is above board and this is not. And we're playing these word games with people where an old mantra that they've used for decades, from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free, which is a mantra that any people would use who were abused. That would be their thing. And we've played this word game now to where we're saying, oh, well, you're for genocide. And then we see these interviews where they sit down and they say, do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? And immediately the media trained person says, of course I condemn Hamas. This conversation isn't about Hamas. This conversation is about the treatment of the Palestinian people. So when you cut off people's water, food, and access to medical supplies and then bomb them, you're actually violating international law. So that is the group that is violating international law. And back to the Talib moment, we got 20 Democrats who decided to censor Talib. So that shows you how far leaning the war machine goes. And when you look at the funding of all of these Democrats who voted to censor Talib, what you find is a whole lot of money from AIPAC, a whole lot of money from defense contractors. So This is not just a Republican thing. So we can't do that thing where we point at the terrible Republicans and talk about how they claim to be conservatives.
It's a human thing, though.
No.
We can't
But we have to call out who
we can't articulate the human element of what's going on and even talk to that and claim to be Christian. And Israel can do no wrong. And if we just speak about peace, that somehow, if we're talking peace and that's somehow anti-Israel, then what are we really doing here? We're speaking to the propaganda. And to have Stephen, a white guy, call me a Nazi because I'm saying, hey, let's have peace. I mean, what does that say about him? What does that say about anybody who would even say something like that? That means they're ignorant. They don't know history.
Stupidity.
And say a prayer for all the six.
If you can't do that, don't be on the show. If you can't articulate a thought logically, don't be on this show. That's all I'm saying.
Indeed, Aguna. But let's say a prayer for all the young 16 to 18-year-olds in America who grew up with Bernie Sanders as their patron saint of great politics, and they saw Bernie wilt this week. Bernie would not even stand up and say a ceasefire should be allowed. So one hero bites the dust for a lot of young folks, man. They really look up to that
Jewish. Bernie is Jewish.
That should have nothing to do with justice.
But it does.
No, again, being a Jew
Jews are the target.
and believing in Judaism has nothing to do with Zionism. Two different things.
Somebody already expressed to you, if the KKK says that we're going to hang blacks and we're going to kill all blacks, and then Margaret Sanger said we are going to commit genocide against all blacks by using abortion, what would you say to that?
I would say your analogy is not only inaccurate, but stupid.
Right. That means kill all the Republicans. All of them.
Exactly.
Kill them all.
We're not falling for the okie doke Keith. We're not falling for the okie doke Keith. That was
I rest my case.
Stop.
Yeah, you should rest that case.
case.
Set it on fire and throw it away and never bring it out again.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
I just want look. If you guys aren't up to the challenge of being logical and reasonable, it's not our fault.
Well, I'll leave it to the audience.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry if.
All right, thank you. I got to move on.
I'll leave it to the audience.
Former President Trump's daughter testified today. Let's start with Cousin Todd to talk about. You see this screen I'm sharing, CNN.com. Ivanka Trump's testimony in New York civil fraud trial by Dan Berman. It was written today, updated at 6:22 p.m. She testified today in New York against her father and his company, where she discussed her role in negotiating loans for Trump's purchases of Doral and the old post office. What did you get from her testimony? Here are the takeaways from her testimony today, Cousin Todd. Before I say what they said, do you want to say what you got from it?
I got the same thing I got when her brother testified. We don't know anything. We leave that up to the lawyers and the accountants. So we don't know anything, which is nonsense, because when that place was purchased, they had the square footage. And so you knew the square footage. So when you sold it and you tried to pretend, for example, if Stephen were to sell his house or apartment, he could not put down that it is 30,000 square feet when he knows it's 13,000 square feet. If you do that, you will go to jail. You see, you can't, because what he wanted to do was convince the bank that it was worth more than what it was. If you do that, Stephen, you will go to jail. So why is it Donald Trump can do that and you say it's a witch hunt? They're just trying to get. You would normally say that is wrong. Nobody is above the law. You can't do that. And he not only did it once, he did it over and over and
because
over
it's a witch
again.
hunt. Because it's a witch hunt. And anybody that's in business, they do business. They do business. Everybody does
He said exactly. You can't make this stuff up.
It is a witch hunt.
Wait a minute.
He's in New York. This woman ran. This woman, all she wanted to do was take Donald Trump out.
Okay, so let
give me a break.
Okay.
Oh wait, go ahead, Stephen. Make your point.
No,
all they want to do is stop Donald Trump any way they can.
Okay, wait.
Donald Trump one time. Donald Trump jaywalked. Donald Trump jaywalked one time. And they want to
Okay.
put him in
Mind
jail
you,
for it
Stacey-
because in
Another
Connecticut,
topic.
you can go to
Stacey,
jail for
leave him
jaywalking.
until I'm
It's all
finished.
garbage.
the
Y'all
Okay, go
know
ahead,
it's
Cousin
garbage.
Todd.
We're gonna act
All
like
right.
Did you
we're all
break the law?
stupid, right?
Go ahead.
Intellectual
Hey, I'm not going to go
dishonesty.
ahead. Go ahead. Just talk so nobody will hear you.
Yeah, it was nice
So-
hearing Cousin Todd. I'd like to
Nice,
hear him
it's a
finish
nice
his
try,
point.
Todd.
Everybody wants to
You
put.
started to speak facts, and he got offended.
Okay, so like I was saying, Stephen talked all around the point. If Stephen did that, pretended his house or apartment was worth more than what it really was, he would go to jail. Now, when Stephen used to
I
have
don't think
common
he'd go to
sense,
jail. I think
No.
you're exaggerating. He wouldn't go to jail.
he would go to jail. He's a
No.
poor white boy. They throw people like him in jail. Now,
Mm.
look, this is what
They
I'm
do
saying
these.
to
Yeah,
you.
these days they do.
Not this mind.
But
This
even
is
if they
what I'm-
didn't commit a crime,
Okay.
they do that now.
Now, Stephen
And January
used to say,
6th. Ask those guys. They haven't even been convicted.
gosh,
They haven't.
see, Stacy did this.
This is a
My
sick
point I was
person.
making was
This is
nobody
the
is
empowerment
above the
of
law,
ignorance.
which is what Stephen
before
used
our
to
eyes.
say. You can't be above the law. You can't do things and get away with it. And Stephen said,
So
well, rich people do it all the time. That's just the way it is.
okay, thank you. So I didn't do
I
this.
wonder
I'm
why
going to let
he's saying
Stephen
that.
respond. Stephen, you have a few seconds to respond.
Right.
I
If
didn't
he,
do this.
Stay on point,
Excuse me.
Stephen.
It was
We won't.
Aguna who did it. Aguna
if
got
he
him
was,
riled up like Aguna loves to
if
do.
if
And then
he,
Todd
if
comes
Don't
in and
get too
Donald,
blames it on
listen,
me.
hypothetical.
Stacy, it's
Stick
really
with the
easy.
point.
It's real easy,
Just stay with
Stacy.
the point.
If
What
Donald
did he
Trump,
do?
if Donald Trump was
He
not
didn't
running for
jaywalk.
president, if Donald Trump was not kicking everybody's ass by 1,000, then none of these things would be happening with court. But these are
Like
people
what?
who are fraudulent. These are people who are corrupt. These are bad people that are doing what they're doing because they are
Can
showing
you
you how
talk
bad
about
the
what
system
Donald
is.
Trump
It's
did?
all kangaroo court. It's all BS. And if you don't know it, then you're extremely stupid. And I don't feel sorry
thank
for
you.
you.
I
I don't,
don't
because
feel
I think
comfortable
all
with
of
you
y'all are
riding
just a
this,
bunch
man.
of
What are you
liars.
talking
And you
Lord,
love to
that's
lie,
disgusting.
and you love to live on the side that's going to get you in trouble eventually.
By simply
thank you,
telling the
Stephen.
These
truth,
guys.
the judge
Thank you,
said
Stephen.
that, oh my gosh.
Go
The
ahead, Todd,
judge
and then
is
Aguna.
corrupt.
I'm
Dance,
really got to
monkey,
move on.
dance.
Everybody is
Dance,
corrupt
monkey,
except
dance.
Donald
Yeah.
Trump.
All right, say again.
Everybody's corrupt.
Okay.
Except
All right. I
Donald
got to
Trump.
move
We're
on.
talking about
Donald Trump may have some
multiple
corruption, but he doesn't deserve to go what he's going through. And if he wasn't running for president, he wouldn't be going through any of this. And that's a fact. And you know it's a fact.
No, that's
So
an opinion, sir.
stop being
cares,
that's
Stephen?
over.
Are you
cares?
okay? Did
Keep
you have a
pushing us
stroke?
that way.
The fact, so as an American citizen, you should want him to be held accountable if he's running for the highest office in the land.
I
You
want
should
to be held
the system
accountable, but
to
not
play
in New York, where this woman campaigned
out.
on
What?
taking
No,
Donald Trump down. This one,
Wait.
you know it's
If
crazy.
you
No,
want
you know
to
it's
hold him accountable,
it's
you said
it's
you want
it's
to hold him
political
accountable.
persecution, Aguna.
Do you want to hold
Aguna, you have
him
no argument.
accountable, yes or
Aguna, I'm
no?
sorry, you don't have
Do
no
you want to
argument.
hold him
She's
accountable,
doing
yes
this
or
for
no?
political reasons because she hates him and she doesn't want him to run for president.
We
That's why
understand
all
you
of
want
this is
to ride
happening. So
himself.
whatever you
We
say is
understand you
He
want to
put
ride
BS.
his
himself
sack,
in
It's
this
but let somebody
BS.
else
I'm
speak.
tired of
That's
listening to
being
y'all's
held accountable.
Okay.
garbage.
Thank you.
Y'all
We
are
understand.
Okay. You got to stop.
He's
You
been
got to
put.
stop.
He put
I got to
himself in
move
this
on.
position. There's a saying.
He needs a
Okay,
Never
mental
give
health
Aguna.
check.
someone a stick to beat you with. Never give someone a stick to
Aguna.
beat you with. He gave him a stick.
Okay, you
that
got to
beat
stop,
them because he
Aguna.
broke the law.
Stop,
Okay,
Aguna.
he
Thank you.
empowered
Stop,
them to do
Aguna.
this. You're giving them
Stop,
excuses.
And
Aguna.
he did that years ago.
Accountability.
Aguna.
Okay,
Aguna.
look, I mean,
Please
he
stop.
said he wanted to
Thank
hold him
you.
accountable. Then he runs and says he shouldn't be accountable. That's
Okay.
ridiculous.
U.S. elections results. We're running out of time. We got to do this as our roundtable. U.S. election results, takeaways. Let me share my screen. Let's start with
If he
Keith,
wasn't
then
running for
Stephen,
president, we
then
wouldn't do a
It's true.
background check
Julio,
on him.
They wouldn't do
We-
nothing to him.
then
if he
Julio,
wasn't
then
running for
So
Aguna,
president,
then
transparent.
Cousin
there's
Todd.
certain jobs.
Make-
If
If
you
I run,
see,
You
if
make
I
me want to
see
apply
what
for
I
a
puke.
mean,
job, they're
Todd?
gonna do a
See,
background
Todd?
check.
You make me want to
See, Todd?
puke.
See how Guna just did that?
Oh,
You see how Guna just did it?
what?
Did you
You
see how
wanna
Guna just
puke.
did it?
You make me want to
See,
puke.
he just started it. He
Thanks.
started it
There
with
we go.
him.
Back to the
When I'm
fifth
starting to
grade.
move on,
This
and
is
then
the fifth
Todd
grade.
comes in. This is like a
Holy
little,
crap.
like a 3-card Marley show, a
You
3-card
make me wanna
Marley
puke.
trick on the show.
What are we in
Aguna
the
gets
80s?
Stephen
We in
going,
the 80s
and then
now?
Todd comes in and blames me, and then it's all fun and games, so someone gets their eye poked out. Let's go with U.S. elections for 10.
I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
Let me share
Stacey.
this
Can I
screen.
patent that? You make me want to puke.
Takeaways from the elections in Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, and more by Gregory Krieg.
Oh my
It was
God.
written today, November 8th, updated 5:23 a.m. Elections really were good for Democrats, right? The parties plot their strategies. There were a lot of local elections in different states, and a lot of Democrats won. This article says that Governor Glenn Youngkin, the Virginia Republican who believed he could crack one of the most intractable issues in American politics with the promise of reasonable abortion restrictions, will not lead a GOP-controlled legislature in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The Commonwealth of Virginia, the GOP legislature, denied the party control of the state Senate and put a swift end to both his plan for a 15-week abortion ban and rumors he might pursue a 2024 presidential bid. Let's start with Stephen. Stephen, you are in Virginia. What happened with that?
I can't wait to hear this.
Too many people have bloodlust. That's the problem. It's bloodlust. They want the blood of babies to flow down the streets, and that's all they care about. It's the only thing they really voted on was the fact that they wanted unlimited abortion until after the baby's born, and then they put it in a closet, and then the woman tries to decide if she wants it or not, to talk to the doctor, maybe to bring somebody else in. I don't know. But this is what the Democrats want. And this is why the Democrats won. This is why the Democrats won, because it's what they want. But you know what? I'm extreme. I'm extreme because I believe in life. I believe in life. But I'm extreme. But these people on the left that voted for these Democrats, the main thing that it was abortion. So these people voted to kill babies, the most innocent thing in the world. You know what? It was a suggestion. It was a suggestion.
Okay,
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill was a suggestion, I guess, right? No. People should be ashamed of themselves, and God is going to punish this country. And I'm going to sit back and laugh, although I'm going to be going down with the rest of this shit, I guess.
Thank you, Keith.
Not unless I repent.
Move to Europe.
How did the elections go? Keith, how
Go
did
back
the
into your
elections go
bunker,
for you
man.
in California? And what do you think about the Democrats sweeping the country? What did that say for
He
President
doesn't really
Trump?
know what's going on, Stacey, so he's
support?
going to make this up.
Well, what it
He's gonna make
says
this
What
up.
did that say of President Trump's support of Republicans when all the Democrats won?
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, in California, this is California. So, but I wanted to comment about what Stephen said. I agree with him 100%. And I'll give you the constitutional perspective, Stephen, so that you can be, armed in defense.
I know what you're going to say.
It says here, it says that the abortion, because basically what they have done was taken Roe v. Wade and gone beyond Roe v. Wade by giving it, it's back at the states. So that's fine. But then the states can now say, in contradiction to the United States Constitution, they can now, go beyond Roe v. Wade in terms of abortions.
Hey, Keith, have a drink of water. Go lay down. Go lay down.
The Constitution says that the supreme law of the
Todd,
land.
we can't see you, Todd.
I don't want
the Constitution. This Constitution and laws of the United States. This Constitution and the laws of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land.
When you pull up at the drive-thru, do you start talking to them about the Constitution?
Thereof.
I'm just wondering.
Anything in the Constitution or the laws of any state, to the contrary, notwithstanding. So any state that gives a law, makes a law contrary to the Constitution, shall not stand. And these people will be judged by God, if not by the people.
Thank you.
But that doesn't follow.
Julio.
Yeah.
We're going to Julio, then you.
I got you, Aguna. I'll be real quick. Yeah. So ultimately, the dog chased the car, and the dog finally caught the car. But the dog found out cars weigh a lot. So the GOP had this pipe dream about Roe v. Wade, and for years they talked about what they were going to do and how they were going to dismantle it. Well, it finally happened, and guess what? It's not as popular as they thought it was. Matter of fact, it's extremely unpopular. to the point of where they're losing winnable elections because their pet project that they wanted so badly, they finally got what they wanted. And now they're finding out. I don't know, man. I thought people were for democracy. I thought people decided that votes matter. I thought people could understand that, hey, maybe your position is just not that popular, Stephen and Keith. Maybe this is something you want.
More people can go to hell. I don't care. Go to hell. I don't care.
As an older, irrelevant demographic, what you think just doesn't matter as much. And I guess the young folks just told you that. Yeah, good luck with that.
Go to hell. Who cares?
We're actually doing you a favor by having you on the show and having you express your craziness. I mean,
yeah, it's so crazy. It's so crazy not to want to kill babies. I'm the crazy one because I don't want babies to die. I'm the crazy one. I'm the extremist because I don't want babies to get killed. You want to murder babies. You support the murder of babies. But I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. You're sick, man. You're sick. Y'all are all sick. Y'all something's wrong.
Okay.
Stop. So, Stacey, let me just
stop.
make my point real quick. Okay. Like I said before on this show, all right, the thing about Roe v. Wade or this abortion debate, it is a big government debate for me. I'm like, look, it's between your God, your family, and your doctor. The government should stay out of it, all right? And what's going on and what the Supreme Court ruled is that let the states decide, right? So now the states are deciding, and you're seeing where the people in these states are saying, you know what, we want our state government out of our bedrooms, out of our private lives, okay? You can be pro-abortion, anti-abortion, but that's up to you as an individual decision, because what's happening is each of these cases, and as men, I mean, we're men on this show, right? You're trying to debate what women do with their bodies, and every situation is unique and different. There are cases in which that you can't get an abortion even though the fetus is non-viable, and you have to carry that baby to term. There's cases in which women have cancer and they have to go through chemotherapy, so they have to have an abortion, because otherwise, if they do the chemotherapy or they can't do it because they are pregnant, and because they're going to lose their lives because they can't get abortion. These are case-by-case scenarios, and what the people are voting on is the ability for families to decide what their health care, their medical treatment, and not for people, men who are claim to be Christians or disconnected from the situation, to arbitrarily call people baby killers because you don't know what these individual situations are. So what they're saying is not, hey, we're pro-abortion. They're saying is we are pro-privacy. It's up to our individual situation, and it's the government needs to stay out of it. It's a government debate. Stop trying to play to the cheap seats and call people baby killers when it's really a big government debate. It's up to you as an individual to decide in your family. The government stays out of it, period.
Is that the
government doesn't stay out of it? The government says it's legal. The government doesn't stay out of it. The government lets you kill your baby.
Choice, right? They don't ban it. They don't arbitrarily
why can't a woman kill her baby that's 2 weeks old? Why can't a woman kill a baby that's a month old?
You should have choices. So a woman should carry a baby.
Thank you.
A woman can kill a baby whenever she wants.
No. So, Stephen, if your significant other had cancer and got pregnant, you don't think
they do that. They make exceptions, Aguna. They make exceptions.
No, that's not
bull crap. They make exceptions. You're lying. You are lying. They don't make nobody go through that. You're a liar.
There were no
They don't.
Okay, all right. I can't have you all keep going on. We have to move on. There is, if you look at the screen,
but
there is a live.
Why wouldn't you make the point that there are no exceptions? Rape, incest,
that's an important.
There are no exceptions.
Now,
but they
we
don't do that.
They don't say that. There's always exceptions. There's always exceptions.
No, there's not always exceptions.
There's always exceptions. You're a liar.
Thank you.
You're a liar.
There is right now.
You're saying that because you're losing the argument. We know better.
Right now, there is the Republican presidential debate, which is live now, and they are sparring over the Trump-Israel Hamas war. So I'm going to stop sharing that. Watch the debate if you're interested. It has gone down to less people who are running. And I think you may find their viewpoints interesting.
Well,
So
I'll tell you what the viewpoints are. I'm a stronger advocate of Israel. I'm a stronger advocate. That's what they're going to do. They're going to try to one up each other on how much of a war hawk they are. It's going to be sad.
Okay. All right. We're out of time. To our first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you to our women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do as you're out there in the Middle East, sacrificing your lives for us. So we are free to say whatever we choose on this show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna, the Nigerian moderate Republican,
Government, stay out my bedroom.
Keith, the constitutional conservative,
He doesn't want the
Stephen,
government to stay out of his bedroom, and nor does Stephen.
the independent thinker.
Kill that baby. Yeah, kill that baby. Kill that baby.
Julio.
Idiots, man.
Yeah, you can't make this
Idiots.
stuff
You
up.
just
Y'all
said,
Julio,
idiots.
thank you
You
for
just
joining us,
said
Julio.
Idiots.
the Jews should kill all Palestinians, men, women, and
The
children.
Palestinians want to kill all the Jews. The little babies that
You
get
just
killed.
told them to
You don't sound like a
kill
Christian,
Okay.
all
Stephen.
The ones that are going to
And-
grow up.
You don't sound very
Stop.
Christian.
Man,
Stop.
this is sad.
And my cousin Todd.
I shall not kill
I'm Stacey
Stephen.
Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going on. You guys got me
Flow.
forgetting everything.
Do we need
On
to put a
the
restraining
flow,
order on
on
Stephen?
Stephanie-
Thou shalt not kill.
Aguna,
That's
Aguna,
right.
Aguna,
I'm
Aguna.
sorry.
Please stop.
Okay.
Please watch us on the Flow Television Network by Stephanie Stallworth, Twitter, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and we'll
Blue
see
Sky.
you next. No, we're not on Blue Sky. And we'll see you next week. Good night.
Hey, Stephen, what's your skin routine? What's your skincare routine?
And is that did you get that clock from Gilligan's Island? Is that a Gilligan's Island clock? What's going on?
No, that's
here?
from Captain
You need to
D's.
navigate your thoughts. You need to
That's from
navigate that
Captain
thoughts
D's. You
with
get a
that.
10-piece shrimp, 2-piece fillet, and you get that
It
clock
does look like
as
it's
a
from
party
Captain
gift.
D's.
It
You got
actually
that clock.
is from Captain D's.
This is the thing, Stephen. You don't know that you're a contradiction walking. You said
He
the
does- he
Jews
knows
should
he
kill
doesn't
all
care.
the
It's from Captain
Palestinians.
D's. Nuts.
And then you
What?
say, you flip and say, you want to
Grow
kill
up here.
babies in America. You want to kill babies.
What? I don't understand. What are you saying there? How did I
Well,
contradict
you
myself?
don't understand most things. That's just
You
kind of
kind
No,
of
I don't.
Yeah, that's nothing
by
new.
saying
What I'm
that
saying
the
is
Jews should
that
kill
you contradict
all
yourself.
Palestinians.
You're worried about
All
He
babies.
tries to use
Palestinians
You're
the
worried
same
about
die.
babies in Middle East getting
Please,
killed,
let's
but you
together.
don't care about all the babies that are aborted. They're really babies. They're not anything else but babies. But these people on the left, they want more babies
No,
to
we're
be
not saying
killed.
that. We're just saying
They want
it should
they
be-
want
it
more
should-
babies
actually
to
losing
die.
that argument on the right as well.
I don't
Republicans
care for
have
losing an
changed
argument on the
course
right.
this.
It's not about right or left. It's about
Well,
right
you
or
just
wrong.
said it was
You
about
just
the
said
left.
it was. You just
No,
said
I'm saying the left.
You
I'm
just
not
contradict
saying it's
yourself
about
all
no.
the time.
What I'm
Is that what
saying
you
is
do?
I'm
say
saying
right,
the
left,
right
left,
is not
left,
going to do
left.
anything. The
Well,
left.
hold
That's
on.
good.
Let me
What
ask
I'm
an important
saying is
question.
it's
Stephen,
wrong
hold
to
on.
kill babies. It's
Stephen,
wrong to
they
kill
support
babies.
Margaret
Except
Sanger.
your
Let me ask
They
an
Palestinians.
do.
important
They don't
question.
care that
Margaret
most of
Sanger.
the babies look like them. Most of the
That's not
babies
true
look
either.
like you, Aguna.
It's
You,
not true
Todd.
either.
They're Margaret
not
That's a
true.
right-wing talking
You,
point.
Julio.
Yeah, it's not true.
Margaret
it's
Sanger.
not.
It is
Yeah,
true.
but
That's where
Keith,
they
Keith.
put that's where they put the abortion
No,
clinics
no,
is in
it's
black
not true.
neighborhoods. There'll be
Depending on
two or
what
three in
you're
a black
trying to play with
neighborhood. I
Margaret
go to these
Sanger.
neighborhoods. They
They're
want
Margaret
these
Look,
people to
man,
kill them.
look,
It's been like that
the bottom
forever.
line of it
It's a
is,
way to
again,
kill
it's a
black
private
people.
matter.
And black people are so
You can get all
brainwashed. They
emotional
say,
as you want.
we have to
It's
be
a
for killing
private
babies.
matter.
brainwashed.
It's
All you do
idiots.
is
Yeah,
repeat
you're
talking
idiots.
points from
Matter.
YouTube. You're a moron.
Idiots.
Keith,
They're
seriously,
Margaret
Keith,
Sanger.
Give
how
me my
long does it
individual
take you to
choice.
brush your
They
teeth?
don't
All
understand nothing.
79
Stephen,
of
they're
them.
Margaret
Act like
Sanger.
If you support
You use a special
abortion,
Okay,
toothbrush.
one
then
at
you're
a
the
time. One
Klan.
at a time.
You are the Ku
Nobody
Klux
can hear what
Klan
you
if you
guys are
support
saying.
abortion.
One at a time. Nobody can hear
I
anything
just
you're
want
saying.
to have my own choice. I don't want the government to make a choice for me. Is that
You
simple?
can't have a choice to kill somebody, Aguna. If that baby is 2 days
If
old,
it's
you
health
can't kill
related,
it. How
so
can
I
you kill
can't-
it
so look,
when it
so I
when it
can't
hasn't
save
been
the life
born
of
in 2
mother.
days? How can
I
you
can't
kill
save
that
Okay.
the
same
life of mother.
baby
I can't have
What
that
2
is he
days
choice.
before it's
talking about?
born? But you can't
Stephen.
kill it 2 days
Stephen.
after.
You're
It's
not
still a
making any
damn
sense.
baby.
And make
You
it
were on the
right.
wrong side.
Stephen,
There's all kinds
No,
of
I'm not,
No,
Stacey.
you're
They're
wrong.
they're
You
wrong.
guys are.
You're killing a baby.
Okay.
How can you
That's
kill a
okay.
baby?
It's okay to have
That's
an
what they
opinion.
want. That's what they
baby.
want.
Stay out of it.
Stephen, it's
You
okay to
can get
have
emotional
an
all you
opinion,
want, Stephen. They'll
but
make
you
you
got to
right.
stop talking and let different people
But he
say
never
different
stopped
things.
talking, and I want to
mean,
hear
he
you
never
tell him
stopped
to stop talking.
Listen to
He
this
never
child.
stopped
did.
talking.
I
very
did.
calm,
Did
Stephen.
not. Hey,
You
everybody. Did I
never,
tell
you
Guna to
never
stop?
muted them during the show,
Stephen, stop
Oh my
throwing the
and you're
temper
not
tantrum.
telling him to stop
This man
talking
is
now.
Oh my
insane,
goodness.
man. This
Okay,
man is
I'm muting
insane.
Aguna right now. I told Aguna to stop before. Aguna talked through my outro. Aguna talked
I
through my
did not.
outro, and I
You're
told him
trying
to
to.
He should
stop,
have to
and
take
he
off next week for
apologized.
that.
I didn't, Stacy. You're trying to play to his emotions. Don't condone this.
Well,
temper
he's very
tantrum that he's doing
emotional.
right now.
Well, you gotta
He
quit.
throws a
You gotta
temper
quit
tantrum.
sipping that
If you would
secret,
put enough
man.
I'm
energy into making a
passionate
point
about
versus
the
throwing a
people
tantrum.
allowing people
No,
to kill
you're
babies.
drunk and off your medication.
No, and
Again,
also
you're
I'm
throwing a
against
tantrum. You're not
people
articulating
mutilating
arguments.
young children as well.
Okay,
Y'all,
all right.
y'all's the
That has
people
nothing
on
to
the
do with what
side
we
of
were talking
Look,
about.
mutilating young
Stephen,
children
Stephen,
and
That has
killing
nothing to do with
children.
what we
you
were.
Y'all
realize
have
that your delivery
Okay, that has nothing to
makes you
do with
sound.
what we were talking about. I wanted you to focus on the elections, how they went Democratic, and what that meant for former President Trump. You know, it
nothing.
was in
No, but Stacey, the
addition
point
to
is
abortion,
because of these extreme
addition to
views.
abortion.
That's why
Why
it went
did
to the right,
everyone
to the
vote
left.
Democrat, even in Ohio? That was the
Because
I don't think
question.
it's any
people like
reflection on
Stephen.
Donald
You
Trump at
see what
all.
Stephen is doing, what Stephen just did, talking about killing babies and all that. People are tired of that crazy talk. They're tired of that. They
It's
don't
not
want to be affiliated
crazy.
with
It's
that.
actually happening.
Look, man.
You're actually
At the end of
killing
the day,
babies when you
the reason
abort.
why Roe v.
Okay,
Wade,
you got to
the
stop
reason
saying it
why
so he
Roe
can
v.
talk.
Wade was passed to begin with was based on privacy. They said that it's a private matter and the government needs to stay out of people's bedrooms. It's between their God, the family, and their doctor.
They're
And
not
that's all
aborting
I'm
babies
saying.
in the bedroom. They're not aborting babies in the
You're
bedroom.
jumping over the fact. Should you, as an individual in this country, an American citizen, have a choice?
Okay,
To
thank
kill
you, Cousin
someone?
Todd.
No.
Ask-
Murder
You
is
Okay,
do have, you
wrong.
still have a
not
choice whether
answering
you
it.
kill
He's
someone
not
or
going to
not.
answer it.
You
Yeah,
But
still-
Aguna keeps
you can't have a
Then
baby.
you
asking
should
him.
go to
man.
prison.
You
If
Yeah,
you
can't
kill
have
your
a
they're all
baby,
different.
you should go to
Cousin Todd,
prison.
stop.
Again, if your
Cousin
argument
Todd,
is whether or not they're a human being at conception or
Aguna,
birth,
please
if
stop.
that's your argument, that's a
Aguna,
different
No,
argument.
I didn't say that's my argument. I said these
please
are
stop.
Aguna, don't
babies.
feed the
You're
troll,
killing
man.
babies, and you
Because the
support
more he
Todd,
talks,
killing babies.
Cousin
the
Todd,
more hypocritical
Cousin
he
Todd.
is. We gotta
No,
let
this is you,
wackos
Aguna.
talk.
Aguna is throwing the stone and hiding his hand. Cousin
No,
Todd,
I'm
what did
not.
it mean for the Democrats to win so overwhelmingly, especially in the state of Ohio, when former President Trump was
Because we're
backing
tired.
the Republican
American people are
candidate?
tired of extreme positions, and you have this where you're taking away people's freedom, and you're saying, "Hey, we're the party of freedom, right? The Republicans are the party of freedom, but only if you can't do this, you can't say what we don't like you to say, you can't.
That's
do
what you
wanna
do, not us.
You can't
You
do this.
tell
You
us
can't
what
do
to
that,
say.
You can't do this."
Okay,
That's what
thank
you're
you,
saying.
Cousin Todd.
You're saying the
Thank you,
government
Cousin
should be
Todd, with
involved
the
in people's
perm
private
beard.
lives.
Thank you, Cousin Todd, with
Every
the
aspect of
perm
it.
beard. Can you bring your beard a little bit closer, Cousin Todd, to the camera so we can see how perm? Not you, Cousin Todd. The other Cousin Todd. The other Cousin Todd. The other Cousin Todd.
Who,
Aguna.
Steven?
Aguna, can you bring your beard closer so we can see if it's perm?
Why? Mine is better than Todd's because I got some salt and pepper. So I'm in between Todd and Steven.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Cousin Todd.
Has a mullet and the beard. Todd just has the beard.
You have no hair.
Keith is
Cousin Todd, go ahead.
I don't know. He has Rogaine. He has the bird's nest going. You know, it's one of those,
Go ahead,
it's
Cousin
one of those
Todd.
things.
Cousin Todd, come on,
Okay.
we're out of time.
Hey, don't you wish your hair was just like mine?
Yeah, that's right.
yes.
I wish I had a mullet. I could put a mullet on.
It's really, I
Cousin
don't think it's a
Todd.
mullet.
Aguna
Start
was
talking.
I'm not going to waste my words because people won't hear me. Aguna
You
was
waste them
right.
anyway.
They won because women are smarter than Republicans think, and they're not going to be second-class citizens and have the state dictate what they can and can't do with their bodies. The states never
What about
tried to
the other
dictate what
body?
men do with their bodies, so they
The
weren't going
baby's
to
body.
allow that. And so
Can a fetus vote? Can a fetus vote?
I guess if
And
it could,
so-
you would let
This
it
is
live,
what I'm
wouldn't you?
talking about.
You would let
This
it
is what I'm
live.
talking
Then you would
about.
let it live if it could vote.
You're saying it's a lion is a
Okay.
viable.
Go ahead, cousin. He talked
It's
right
not a
over cousin
fetus.
Todd. Go ahead, cousin Todd.
It's a
I'm
baby.
going to talk right over cousin Todd, and so
That's
does Steve.
okay.
Can the baby
No.
vote?
Go to
All right, good
Nas
night.
Is it a
because I
citizen?
can't.
Nas,
go to
did you want to
Nas.
comment before we go?
No,
Hey,
Hey
I'm
guys,
Nas,
say hello to
help me,
Satan for me
Nas.
tonight
Help me,
when you
Nas.
say your prayers.
No, it's just that
You
I
look
can't.
like you smell
I
like
Say
can't
aqua velva.
compete.
Say
No,
say your prayers to Satan tonight, guys.
ultimately,
Name calling, Stephen, is never an argument.
I'm not name
You
calling.
got to
I'm
go
just
down.
call,
You have
I'm
to
just
go down to that level. You've already lost.
well, he's not
Go ahead,
going
Nas.
down to that level. He lives at that level. So
I think we can all
basically,
conclude
this is the
one
difference
thing.
between big government and small government conservatives. So we see the small government conservative, Aguna, making the argument that this is a private choice, a private matter that a family should handle with their doctor, while the big government people like Keith and Stephen are over here yelling that they want Uncle Daddy Sugar, big government, to come in and make the decisions for other people. So it's a cowardly position. It also shows that they wouldn't stand up for free speech when we heard the conversation about Talib. So ultimately, are these people really conservatives, or are they just basically Fox brain idled, YouTube watching, Facebook comment sections as sentient beings who come
We're
to
angry
life
white men.
and repeat ignorant things all day? No, you're not ignorant because you're white. You're ignorant because you're ignorant.
We're not ignorant.
Comment sections
Dark web.
as sentient beings who come
We're
to
angry
life
white men.
and repeat ignorant things all day. No, you're not ignorant because you're white. You're ignorant because you're ignorant.
We're
see
not
how that
ignorant.
works?
We're not ignorant. Hear that word? Just because you say we're ignorant doesn't make us ignorant.
Our
My
rights
friend.
absolute.
Just like
You've
just because
shown
you
that
say
Did
Satan,
Donald
not
Trump
two
win
hours
the
into
election?
struggle.
You're
Our
so
rights absolute.
Thank you. Good
you're so
night.
ignorant.
Good
You don't
night.
even know what